Yeah, I think the one nugget is jump before you're ready, right? Like,
That's
don't
good.
be scared to get into the deep waters and go try. And if you have the team and the relationships and the people behind you that you've built out, um, you'll have some backing there, right? So jump before you're ready. The first time you do it is scary. You might fail, but you're gonna learn from it. I promise.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello and welcome back to the Investor Fuel podcast. I am your host, Cody Crabb, and today we have Stu Grazier with us. He's an investor operating across multiple markets. He's doing burr deals and flips, and he's built several businesses. He's a great person to talk to. I'm really excited to share this conversation. Stu, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Cody. I appreciate the opportunity to come on the show, man. It's a privilege and an honor just to be a part of this incredible podcast.
Thanks so much. So for anyone that's kind of just meeting you for the first time, like, let's give us the quick version, a snapshot of you. You know, who are you? What are you focused on in real estate right now today?
Yeah, thanks, man. I've been in the business for a long time, but I was in the Navy for 20 years. Joined right out of college, went to the Naval Academy, joined, and I was a pilot, flew helicopters, and then transitioned, flew Boeing 737s for a while. But along that entire journey, I was very interested in real estate and got started really pretty early in my career, really just kind of like as a side hustle, going to different conferences, learning new things, trying different strategies and asset classes wherever I went. And then eventually, about the 15-year mark in the Navy, my college roommate and I decided to go into business together. And through just some failures along the way, we decided to start a quote unquote turnkey company out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And we just grew from there. Over the next like 5 or so years, we were doing about 40, 50 houses a year, flipping houses in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, turn them into rental properties. Along that journey, we, gathered quite a few up ourselves. So, we still have a portfolio of single family and duplexes. But we also were forced to have to start learning how to raise money. And so we raised a lot of money along the way. That led to building out a fund and doing more private lending, and that led to syndications into the commercial space. So short story is, learned a lot along the process, along the way, failed a lot along the way, but it's been a fun journey.
Now that's what I want to hear about. The word failure. I love the word failure because that means you learned something. So I definitely want to dig in there. Do you remember the very first deal you ever did, or maybe even just the first big, I definitely shouldn't have done that mistake that you ever did?
I'll start with the first deal.
Sure.
And that was in flight school. I was in Pensacola, Florida, right after college, and a friend of mine, his father was in real estate. They had been investing, and he told me that they were buying raw land.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
And essentially just buying it, sitting on it for a while, and then selling it once it increased in value, kind of like flipping land. So I was like, oh, that sounds fun. I'll go and try that. And I'm kind of one of those guys that just like takes action really early on. I'll learn a little bit, and it's kind of like the ready, fire, aim kind of mentality.
There's something to be said for that, but yeah, that can get you into trouble a little bit.
Yeah,
sometimes.
it's gotten to me. There's some good and some bad with that. But
Yeah.
So I went over to Mobile, Alabama. Met with a realtor. He started showing me some properties, some raw land. Showed me a piece of land in a new development, and it was $50,000. So figured out how to put like $5,000 down. I was young. I was like 24 maybe, and financed the rest. And that was my first deal, and I sat on it. And then quickly afterwards, a huge hurricane came through the Gulf Coast and wiped out a ton of the area. And I was like, oh, man, there goes my investment. But there wasn't much I could do about it. So I, again, just kind of sat on it, started through flight school. And then about 9 months later, that same realtor reached out to me. And he's like, hey, Stu, your piece of property, like they've redeveloped, they started building again. Your lot is the last one in this development that's not built on, and someone wants to buy it. It wasn't for sale. Like, it wasn't listed. It's like, but someone wants to buy it for $95,000. I was like,
that's great.
Sold.
Yeah,
I love
no
real
kidding.
estate.
That's a heck of a first deal. Yeah. No kidding.
But so like, really having no idea what I was doing, thought it was going to be a huge failure because of, the hurricane. Ended up to be really, really awesome. That got me hooked. That started like down the process of like just really learning and diving into self-education.
Yeah.
And moved out to San Diego, and kind of, long story after that of my journey, but that was kind of the start of the real estate.
Yeah, it sounds like you were like, at that point, you were like, oh, this could be a business thing. Like, I could actually do this as a business. Was that
For
like
sure,
when
man.
you realized it, or was it a different deal? Was there like a deal that was like more consequential for you, where you were like, oh, this is the big one. I'm doing this now. Like, we're all in now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it was kind of slow and steady. I got into self-education mode. I went to like the 3-day kind of guru conference where, they teach you just a little bit to kind of get your feet wet. And then they tell you to run to the back of the room and buy the, 30 set DVD, for half the price or whatever. So I did all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that got me kind of into self-education, and I got really busy, in the Navy, learning how to fly helicopters, and then eventually kind of deploying and stuff. So there was kind of a pause for a little bit, but I had that itch, right? And I was just continuing to self-learn. And what I realized kind of in the younger days of when I was in the Navy, I couldn't do the active investing just because I just didn't have the time and the capacity for it.
Yeah.
But I did learn through that stage of self-education that I could put my money to work in more of passive ways. And so I actually kind of did the opposite of what a lot of like investors do. I started private lending very early on. I connected with an investor actually in the Dallas market, which is where I'm originally from. And he was looking for private investors to lend capital so he could go flip houses. And so that's what I started doing. So I would just, save up, live below my means, go on a deployment, go on a, long mission or something, save a bunch of money. And then I would just use that to do like private lending for like a flipper. So that was kind of like learning that stage. And
Gotcha.
again, like more self-education, more learning. Like then I got into like mortgage notes. And so I tried a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, I found that if you try to like map out where you want to go, you're probably wrong. Like there's no real way to know where things are going to go. Like things are just going to take turns you don't expect. And I mean, I'm sure that if your younger self had heard that you were going to get into all these other things, you probably would have been like, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
I think that, a lot of times, using a baseball analogy, a buddy of mine recently said, like, hey, you just got to keep on getting up to the plate and swinging the bat, right?
Yeah.
Some are going to be home runs, some are going to be strikeouts, some are going to be singles, but you just keep on getting up and swinging the bat. And eventually, like, you're going to find your niche, you're going to find your strategy, you're going to figure out what's best for you. And then you can kind of start to focus in and hone your skill a little bit more.
Yeah, see, that makes me think of kind of, mentoring people that are kind of newer at this. Right now, I mean, the markets everything changes and everything's different. Nothing's going to be exactly the same as when you first started. But when people are getting into investing now, what is something a mistake that you see them making that's like red flag, but not red flag, but like just don't do that. Like that's a huge issue right away.
Yeah. So it's a similar mistake that I made, I think, early on, was just trying to do it all by myself.
Hmm.
I truly believe that the real estate industry, the real estate investing business, is a team sport, and you have to start building your team early on, because you can't do it all. I've tried it and it doesn't work. And so you got to start, like, networking and meeting people and learning who
Yeah.
they are, and like putting yourself in the room with other individuals. Maybe it's joining a mastermind group, maybe it's going to meetups, but that really is important, is like building the foundation of a team, and like knowing who in your Rolodex can help you in certain situations, teach you in certain situations, and be there to kind of be a part of your team as you grow. So
Uh-huh.
early on, it's getting in the room with people, networking, asking questions, and figuring out who can be there to help you and join your team.
Yeah. I love that line about it's a team sport, because I think the more everybody tries to do everything themselves until they can't, and knowing when to make it not just yourself that's the really hard part. Where do people typically go, oh, I can do that, where they shouldn't? Like, where do people underestimate the difficulty of something at what point in the scale is what I'm trying to say? Like, where
Yeah.
should someone look first? What's the first sign of, like, maybe I shouldn't just be doing this by myself?
That's a great question. I think there's a couple different answers. I think one of them, so for me, I don't ever want to, like, have to manage my own properties. So I think,
Sure.
maybe you manage your first rental property, but like after that, if you actually want to grow and scale, again, kind of building out a team, maybe I would recommend like finding a property manager if you want to like grow your portfolio to more than like one or two, right? So I think that's one, definite situation that you kind of really need to build out as far as a team member's property management.
Mm-hmm.
Because at some point, like, you can't manage 20, 50, 100 rental properties. It's just not possible, right?
Yeah.
The
It
other,
really,
the other
really
is,
is. Especially if you're trying to do all this other stuff. That's the
that's
point
right.
you're making, is like, maybe you could manage it, but then that's all you're doing. That's all
Yeah.
you're going to be able to do. So
That's right, man. I think the next big one is money, is finding money. At some point, as a real estate investor, you're gonna run out of your own money, right?
yeah,
And more often than not, it's sooner than later, right?
yeah,
If once you buy your first property with your 20% down, you're gonna run out of money quickly. And so, learning the skill of raising money, again, kind of networking and building your team, and kind of building that like larger network. The faster you kind of start that process, I think the better off you're going to be as a real estate investor, because at some point you're going to have to raise money from either a
yeah.
bank or from private money, and so kind of get used to having those conversations about private money.
So about that team, I'm curious, if someone is looking to, I really like the thing you bring up about kind of these meetups and networking and things, because that's really crucial to what we do.
Yeah.
But you're investing across multiple markets. Like, how does networking work when you're in like a totally different place than all these people that you're trying to network with. You know what I mean? Like I don't even, how does that work? Is it all online? Are there other ways to do it?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Well, so one of the beautiful things about COVID was that it opened up a lot of opportunities for kind of these online mastermind groups, and
people just
that
got
was
used to the
something.
idea. Yeah, I know exactly what you
Yeah, you
mean.
just kind of got used to the idea of being on Zoom or being on a virtual meeting. That kind of became like the norm. And before that it wasn't. When every time that I would move to a different location in the Navy, the first thing I would do is try to figure out where the local, meetup is, the local RIA, and try to go to those meetups. But a lot of times, for me, in my case, why we chose Milwaukee, Wisconsin was because it was affordable, it was cheap, and the numbers made a whole lot of sense. And, being stationed in San Diego, California, as a rental property, the numbers like just didn't make sense for us. And it was way more expensive of a market that we couldn't afford as like a young 25-year-old. So, when you're local, most of the other investors were local and investing locally. And so sometimes like being in the virtual room, you expand that network of people outside of that area where you're at. And so I think that was really a positive thing that came out of COVID. And so with that, I think getting in locations, meetups, masterminds, where there is potential for you to meet somebody that is out of state, that is in a different market where maybe the numbers do make a whole lot more sense than what you are locally used to. The other thing is, again, you got to kind of just throw yourself out there, find opportunities to connect with people that are doing stuff in other places. Bigger Pockets is an example. Like, if anyone in the investor world knows about Bigger Pockets, there's forums, right? Get into the local forums where you think there might be an opportunity for a better location and start connecting it, and get on the phone and just start making phone calls, Zoom meetings, whatever you can to just kind of start building out that team.
So, let's, what has, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. What has being in a team, can you give me an example of something that like being in a network, let me rephrase this again.
Yeah.
Can you give me an example of something that you accomplished that maybe if you hadn't done these networking things, or an opportunity that you had that may not have come across if you were not trying to do things in a team or through a network?
Yeah. So, I've been pretty intentional about trying to kind of put myself in rooms where I'm surrounded with other individuals that are doing things that I'm not doing yet, right? So whether that's, that typically means like you're paying money to be in a mastermind group of some sort. For a long time, I had this mindset that I would like never pay for that kind of stuff. But I think, again, kind of stepping up to that next level, you really have to put yourself there, right? And that often requires you paying money to get in the room. So I did that with a group of specifically, it was veterans. It was military veterans that were interested in investing. Come to find out, there was some members that were not too far from me. They were probably about 30 minutes away locally here in Colorado. They were in the Army. I didn't know them before, but as I got to know them more online, we ended up deciding to meet up, in person. Those conversations led to hanging out a whole lot more. We went to a real estate conference together, got to know each other a little bit more, figured out kind of we had very similar, styles of investing. We had the values aligned really well, which I think is really, really important. And eventually that led to a conversation where like, hey, we're doing this type of investing in a certain location in Colorado. It's kind of a tertiary market. We see that you've been raising money for a long time. What if we kind of like did like the asset management side of things? We brought you guys on. You helped, raise money for a syndication. And we ended up coming together on a partnership and figuring out how to syndicate our first commercial mobile home park. All right. And that was out of just an initial online meetup that I had joined in a real estate group. That
Yeah,
then
you
led
never
to
know.
us.
You never know
You
who
never
you're going to
know.
come across in these
That's
things. Yeah,
right.
that's true.
And then we had to go raise money, right? And so where did we raise a bunch of money from? Other people in that group, other people in
Yeah.
our network, other friends, other family, and that all came from joining a group, and it pushed us to like kind of level up to a place where we didn't really ever think that we would be.
Definitely. Wow. So that brings me to my next question. So fast forward to today. This is what's brought you up to here.
Yeah.
What does the present and future look like? Like what does your business look like right now, and then like over the next few years? Where are you going? Where are things going to go, hopefully?
Yeah. So over the last couple years, we've kind of just been a little bit passive on and kind of honestly sitting back on the sidelines a little bit, just kind of seeing what's going to happen with our current portfolio. We haven't
Hmm.
grown as far as scaling, expanding the asset base. Honestly, like I've kind of been focused a lot more on like being a present husband, being a present dad,
Don't think
being
anyone's going to fault you for that. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, so I retired from the Navy after 20 years in 2022, and I said to myself like, hey, I'm going to take the next couple of years, just be present. Thankfully, our portfolio that we had built, the businesses that we had created, did create enough passive income to cover,
Mm,
the difference from, active military pay and retirement. And so that was a really nice place to be, kind of in that, financial freedom, financial independence stage. And so,
yeah.
now I'm starting to get that itch again. I'm starting to kind of like get the feel to really like go back and do some more stuff. So I did start just a flip again, kind of in the Midwest where it makes a little bit more sense. Kind of built out
Mm,
some new partners, and starting to kind of have more conversations about raising money. We are kind of stopping or not stopping the end of the life cycle on our current fund is there, and so I'm starting back up a new fund to kind of start raising money again and kind of go do some more deals. So that's really exciting. And then the thing I'm really passionate about is just that networking, is that community piece. And so, about a year ago, I kind of reinvigorated this community called the Military Investor Network. And I'm really excited about that. Just a place where military members, veterans can kind of come together and do just that, connect. Maybe it's building out a team, maybe there's partnerships involved, or maybe it's just like educating and teaching each other from all the lessons that we've learned along the way, and kind of building out a virtual space where we can kind of grow together and get better for each other.
that's great. I love hearing that. And in fact, I was just about to ask you. So if people want to like check that out, connect with you, connect with the Military Investor Network, where should they head online? You said it was virtual, so I'm guessing
Yeah.
you can find it online. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a simple one-page website called militaryinvestornetwork.com. Again, it's just for military and veterans that are interested in investing, and we have conversations outside of just real estate. I've kind of opened up the span of discussions into other areas of investing. Honestly, because selfishly, like I want to learn more about other investing strategies. Like I
Sure.
still don't feel like I'm very comfortable with anything in like crypto, Bitcoin, any of that stuff. And so like I'd much rather like know somebody, have their phone number, talk to them, either in person or on the phone or over Zoom, and like have a relationship with someone that's in that space than just kind of trying to go like, read a book or listen to a podcast. So
Yeah, I know what
that's
you
kind
mean.
of the
Yeah,
idea.
you can get all the information in the world, but until you kind of talk to someone that's applied it and is really active and knows what they're doing, it can be very difficult to actually gauge what you know.
Yeah.
So you can know a whole lot on paper, and then you get into the real life, and it doesn't apply. Well, that's really great. I'm so happy to hear that. We're huge on networking and masterminds and all that here, so that is wonderful. And if people want to connect with you directly, if they want to reach out to you, how could they do that?
Yeah, I would say my most active platform, if you will, is probably LinkedIn. So they can look me up on LinkedIn. I'm just Stuart Grazier if you look me up. And maybe you can put a link in that in the show notes. But reach out to me there and message me and connect with me, and then we can kind of set up a call from there. And connect and learn more about each other. And, that's really important for me, is just to kind of build out relationships. I think,
Yeah.
again, kind of back to that team concept, you have to have relationships. And that's where I really think growth truly happens, is kind of building out those partnerships, those friendships, and helping each other out.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. Stu, thank you so much for joining us today. One last question before we end. I just want to get, if you had like one little chance to, let's say you got the mic for 1 second in front of a bunch of new investors, what's the one thing? Is that the one thing that you would tell them? Just make sure you meet everyone you can, or is there another nugget that you would give them?
Yeah, I think the one nugget is jump before you're ready, right? Like,
That's
don't
good.
be scared to get into the deep waters and go try. And if you have the team and the relationships and the people behind you that you've built out, you'll have some backing there, right? So jump before you're ready. The first time you do it is scary. You might fail, but you're gonna learn from it, I promise.
Awesome. Amazing. Thank you so much. This has been a great episode. I've learned a few things. Go ahead and subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. Thanks again, Stuart.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.